we meet once again on Dhammahodaya, and with a resource person who is well known to you. Now, through Dhammahodaya, we bring a very, very important, a very fruitful Dhamma discussion into your home as a person from the Pioneer Buddhist TV channel of Sri Lanka, the Buddhist TV. So today, as I told you, we have a resource person who is known to you, but nevertheless, let me introduce him to you. He is Professor Vasantha Gunatunga of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. So we warmly welcome you to Dhammahodaya, and within our last program, we happened to discuss about happiness. Now, I thought that we should continue from that point. So, because there are people in this world who say that, there's talk going on that Buddhism talks a bit too much about suffering, that Buddhism is pessimism. But actually, as you said in the last program, it is about happiness. Buddhism talks about some permanent happiness as a way of escaping or way of getting rid of all the suffering. So, I would like you to start talking about this permanent happiness.
It's a good topic to start.
Yes.
Happiness is the thing that everybody is looking for, and we work, earn money and live our life, and we have our hobbies. We do a lot of things. Why we do that, if we ask ourselves, is that we want to be happy.
Yes.
We do everything to be happy. But the problem is, it's very difficult to find a person who has gone on happy forever in the life. There are ups and downs, very often bit heaviness in the mind, a bit of a stress all the time we have in our mind. So, that's why people look for happiness all the time. Now, some time back at the time of the Buddha, there was this rich prince who came to the Buddha and asked, Venerable Sir, I want to be happy, not happy from tomorrow or from next birth, from next year, but from now on, I want to be happy. He demanded happiness. Then the Buddha said, very well, Prince, you have everything in your life, materialistic things. You have money, you have political power, you have people to help you, and you have everything that you can ask for material wise. But you come and tell me that you are not happy and you ask for happiness. Very well, if you are ready to get happiness, I can help you. Yes, sir, I am ready. Please tell me how to be happy. Then he taught this method of gaining happiness to him. Actually, we discussed this method some time back in the same program.
But for the benefit of the viewers,
yes,
you can add, you can spice it up a little.
I will briefly tell you what it is. Now, if I tell you the science of this happiness, science of our mental stresses, we get our stresses from three main sources of information. As I told you earlier, one source is from outside. We have our outside material sources, like we have our house, our vehicle, our children, our exams, education, everything. So, these things we enjoy or work with, and then if there is an exam tomorrow, we have a stress now. If there is a problem with the land, if there is a court case going on, we are worried. So, outside things give us troubles, and if we pass an exam, we are happy.
Sure.
So, that is one source. Second source is the physical body. Now, we have aches and pains, illnesses, and that gives trouble. When illness is cured, you are happy, but until such time you are unhappy. So, that is the second source. Third one is we have a big store of memories somewhere within the body. People believe that it is in the brain, but that is what the modern science believes, but in association with this body we have this store, and from the store we get various thoughts which we have stored some time back, now popping up, and we can't get away from that. That is the biggest worry that we have. We even during sleep things come to our mind and we suddenly get up, and when we are wide awake we have it, and when we have these things in the sleep we call it dreams.
Yeah.
And when we are having such thought coming up, when we are listening to in the classroom to the teacher, suddenly one child just staring and not listening to the teacher. Teacher knows that, and teacher is asking the boy, you are daydreaming. Yes, he was daydreaming. So, this is what the collected memories are doing to us. So, that is the third source. Now, this prince, what the Buddha taught this prince was that you have these three sources of giving trouble to you, to your mind. If you can keep away these three sources and let go all this, you are happy all the time. This is useful to us in the modern society also. That's why we thought we discuss this. Now, if that is the way, the technique or science of mental stress, opposite is the science of happiness. You somehow or the other train your mind, give the skill of letting go all three sources of worries. How you do that is what the Buddha taught. Now, Prince, the Buddha said, sit down here. I will teach you this exercise. You practice it, and then you will find yourself the way to happiness. He sat down. Then the Buddha taught, you have to stay unmoved until say 1 hour till you finish this exercise, and then you have to engage your mind in something so that mind is occupied. What you do is you use an equipment that you always have with you. What is the equipment that you always have with you? Is your physical body. You start engaging your mind in scanning the physical body from head to the toes. To do that, you identify number of parts in the body. You take the mind from one part to the other, using loving kindness as a tool to remove attachment and aversion to that body part, and you go on and you scan the body, go to the toes of the left leg and then come to the top of the head. Now your mind is engaged in doing this body scan. If you can do that without any distractions, that is fine, but nobody at the beginning can do that. That is why you are worried, and these thoughts and information from these three domains that we talk about keep bothering you, keep bombarding your mind, so that you are bothered. Now you have given a job to the mind. Now you watch these distractions coming. When you hear something from outside, somebody, some conversation or some song that you hear from far away radio or TV, you let go that. Other times you grab it and listen to it, enjoy it. When that is over, you are again unhappy.
Either you attach to it or build some aversion to it.
Exactly.
Usually.
Yes. So you stop doing that now. This is what is happening from outside. Smells, taste. Taste, of course, when you meditate you don't eat, so that is not a big problem at the moment. You close your eyes so you won't see things. So you let go the outside like that. Second, you let go your physical body. You feel sometimes when you start meditating, pains here and there.
Yeah.
When you stay still, it's difficult to stay. We usually, when we sit and wait, we change our posture every 3 to 4 minutes. You can see when if you carefully observe people listening to Dhamma sermons, you can see people wriggling here and there.
Yes.
So it's not easy to stay in one place. When you stay in one place, for a beginner, you get a lot of pains here and there. So that is the biggest problem that you encounter with the physical body.
Yeah.
What you do that is, now this pain is also a big resource for you to train your mind. What you do with the pain is that you use same loving kindness to let go of the pain, and now you are scanning the body, you stop it somewhere and you take your mind to the painful point and say, express your loving kindness to that painful point. You say, may all be well, happy and peaceful, and bring the mind back to the body scan. If you can do that 100%, bring your mind back from the painful point 100%, that pain is relieved 100%.
I have a little question, sir.
Sure.
Now, when you just express your loving kindness, supposing you feel maybe your leg hurting or your calf muscle hurt, and like now when you just express some loving kindness to it, would you grow attached to that part because you're expressing loving kindness?
Okay.
Is there a that's how I felt. Maybe I feel yeah, I don't know, I just thought the viewers also might have this question.
You asked probably one of the best questions.
Okay, thank you.
You know why? There's a difference between love and loving kindness.
Okay.
Love is attachment. Loving
Sure.
kindness is different. That is, you express your love without attachment. So, you express loving kindness, as I earlier said, to remove attachment or aversion, both. So, when you do that, it is easy for you to bring the mind back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the mind is always going to the painful point repeatedly. For a beginner, even if you express loving kindness, it happens. But you train your mind. You are a now trainee, and you bring it back. And when you train enough, you can bring the mind 100% back to the body scan. That is why, for a person who attained the first fruition of the path, Sotapanna, that is why it is said that person is not going to hell, because in the hell what happens is they inflict pain to your physical body. If you can take your mind off from the painful point, nobody can hurt you. That is the science behind for saying that those who have attained Sotapanna state are not going
Are
to the hell.
safe.
Are safe. They are
Yeah.
absolutely safe.
From the dangers of samsara.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I have another little question now. While doing this, while practicing this, it's a sort of a kaya anupassana, is it?
It is.
It is. Yes. Now, while doing it, how can you get rid of that inner comment? Now, you can let go the sounds you hear. You can let go maybe the pain you feel, but sometimes you get some inner comment from your own mind of something else, probably. How can you help our viewers to sort of? I think that's the biggest problem.
Thank you for asking that question. This is the other very, very important point.
Yeah.
I said there are 3 sources from which we get distractions. Third source, I said, from within the memories. This person who talks inside, we also call it internal noise, third person talking, are the thoughts that we have stored earlier. So, these thoughts are narrating to you certain things, and you keep listening to this third person within you, and it is very difficult to get away from that. You are exactly training to separate your mind from that. What you do is, you get some, you hear something, you let go that. You hear the same thing, you let go that. You keep letting go that, and at that point of time, that is your kammatthana.
Yeah.
So, with time, I know in some meditators, they told me, sir, when I meditate, I see somebody coming and sitting in front of me, and that person, visually also, that person is talking to me. And it's very difficult to concentrate. Then I did the same explanation. Now, this is what is inside your consciousness. This is what you have stored previously. Let go that. You can do that. When you let go, that person vanishes, that internal noise vanishes. So, that is the most difficult part to let go.
I think what usually happens is we become the puppet of that internal voice.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
knowing that, knowing such a thing happens is also understanding part of dukkha. And people who don't meditate will not realize that, will never ever realize.
And I suppose, so that's why I asked you, I initiated from asking you a question about happiness and you went into meditation. I think that is because meditation contributes immensely towards happiness.
Of course, that is where happiness is.
Yeah.
People ask, where is this happiness? I want happiness, where is this? So, we'll try to find out where happiness is.
Yeah.
So, I was describing this the science of distractions.
Yeah.
So, we have these three sources of distractions, and then in the method what we do is we keep our body still, we let our mind move like this, and the mind is engaged now. We see the distractions when we do that, and the distractions are from these three sources. We let go those, and then it takes time to train the mind. Once it is trained, then you feel that these things are now very much less, and you feel much more comfortable within the meditation than earlier. So, when it happens to you, you realize that this place is really comfortable. So, then you become convinced in what you do, and then you continue to do that. Of course, I am quoting some information from Vyaggapaja Sutra. So, to this prince, the Buddha said, "Prince, you start doing that. When you start doing that, you have to be clever in doing that." Nowadays, like this prince, there are so many princes and princesses who are looking for happiness, who are ready to train their mind.
Yeah.
But there are people who are working, they have families, they have their relations, they have lot of things to do. One thing that they have to be very clever at is finding time for this. Finding time for this.
Yeah.
How do you find time? Now, you find time to eat, you find time to bathe, you find time to watch TV. Why? Those are your priorities. You put this in the priority list, number one, and you do this. And this is the thing that gets into your diary first. So, you find time somehow or the other to do this. So, then find time. Then the Buddha said, you have to manage your family life, working life, while meditating. And a lot of, some people who start meditating, they fail to manage their life, and then they create problems sometimes within the family, in the workplace, unable to manage all this together. At the beginning, all of a sudden, I don't think you can go to the forest and start meditating. you need to have some training before you go. So, during this training you need to manage your other mundane life also. So, managing this is very important. Part of the management is finding time and then managing other necessary things at home and not hampering work in the workplace. You can do that. There are a lot of people who do that. So, take courage and start doing it. You need to manage both these supramundane and mundane lives if you are to succeed. Then you have to be clever, you have to manage your life, and then you need to keep doing this. You have to be, you have to persevere, you have to have endurance. So, you have to have these qualities to start and doing it. Then you become a clever person and you manage this.
Yeah. Now, sir, other than this happiness you get through meditation, I think that is the largest benefit. What sort of are there any other benefits in meditation that you get in your lay life?
Of course, yes. Now, at this point we are talking about vipassana meditation that is within the Eightfold Path.
Yeah.
We'll take a student, school child or any other student, and almost everybody is a student because they are learning till they are the death. So, this we'll take a school child. How this will help the school child? Suppose a school child trains his mind in this vipassana meditation, then he knows to keep the mind in the body scan, kayanupassana, while managing the distractions, letting go. He can apply the same thing to his studies. When he is studying, he is reading the book. When he reads the book, he hears this song far away in a radio or TV, and earlier he gets caught into this song because nowadays lot of youngsters, they are always with songs, they are listening to songs. Very difficult to separate them from their songs with this headset and all that.
Yeah.
But when you study, you should be able to let it go. So, this meditation trains him in something. In the meditation life, he trains in the kayanupassana. Other times when he is studying, he gets the skill of applying it to his studies. He is studying without much distractions from his body, from the previous memories of distracting memories and from what is happening outside. So, this boy, this girl or the student who can read say one lesson, who could read in 1 hour, now he is able to read in half an hour and take much more from the lesson than earlier. So, he is saving half an hour every hour, and he will save lot of time and he will learn better, and these things are very clear knowledge that is getting into him, and then it is very easy to manage exams. So, they will be successful in exams and they will do better. So, that is a definite advantage in addition to many other advantages of vipassana meditation for a school child.
Yeah. What about those who work?
Of course, similarly, now the lives of adults are a bit more complex than children. We have so many things that we have to do parallel. We work, then we have to manage our houses, we have to do marketing, and we have to look after our relations, and at the same time some people do a second job. All that needs certain amount of extra special skill if one to succeed. Now, this skill is being able to do one piece of a job and finish it, start the second piece of job, and if the second piece is disturbed by what happened in the first one, then the second piece of work gets dragged on and on. So, it will eat into the third. a person who is doing Vipassana meditation gets the skill of working within certain amount of time without the past and the future distracting the work that is being done right now. So, he finishes it, he finishes faster than before and saves a little piece of time there and goes into the next job with a positive mind and some amount of positive approach, because he has done the previous one well.
Yeah.
And now he is doing better. He does a lot of work and he has money to do other things in life. So, he is always a happier person, lighter, and in addition to doing all this work, he knows what to take up and what not to take up. So, that is also a crucial thing, because if you do not have this training in mind, you keep taking up work and everything and put that into your schedule, and the entire schedule becomes a mess because you cannot finish the work that you put to work in one day.
That's true. Yes. Now, supposing now, other than the meditation, method of meditation that you proposed, I'm sure there are our viewers out there who must be trying out or who are already used to particular methods of meditation. So, what if they think, how can one be sure that whether they are following the correct method or whether they are on the right track?
Okay. Now, different people want different things out of their meditation.
Yeah.
Some people meditate as a just as a stress management technique. They want to get out of the stress for that little maybe morning session or evening session. They meditate for 10 minutes and they feel comfortable, they go on, and if that is what they want, that is fine. So, but if you really want to transform yourself into a happier person, if you really aim at perfection of your mental health and more permanence in the happiness, then you have to get into Vipassana meditation. Now, the difference between Vipassana meditation and other concentration meditations, we need to understand. Now, Vipassana meditation is designed to one thing, to learn to concentrate, and at the same time to learn certain things, improve your wisdom. What do you improve in that is that you start seeing how the mind behaves. Now, in other concentration meditation forms, you do not observe all that how the mind behaves, but if you can keep the distractions away and if you keep that your mind in that safety, you keep doing that, you go on, and then when you get up from the meditation, there is nothing much left. You can go into the absorption or samadhi, but at the between two sessions of meditation, there is no serious improvement. So, in Vipassana meditation, what you see is one thing, you observe the mind, and when you observe the mind, you see this mind gets born or gets taught from these three areas that we discussed earlier,
Yeah.
and it does not go everywhere, and it goes only to places that you have some affection or some liking, or other side of the coin is some distraction or some anger, some problem with. So, you understand first of the noble truth, that is that your mind is jumping into all these spaces, you can't stop it, and that is the beginning of all the sorrows, lamentation, all the suffering, and you will realize that. And then the reason is also, you see within the meditation, that this mind is going and attaching to things that you clung on to earlier, and those things are there in the consciousness right now around you. So, you realize that mind gets attached to these things, and then third, when you get into the fruition of the path, you realize that there is a place without all these distractions. In that place you have real happiness, and by that time you reach up to that fruition of the path, you are sure that the method you followed is correct, otherwise you can't go there. It's like this: suppose you set off from home to go to goal, and you see the goal fort,
Yeah.
and when you see the goal fort, you are 100% sure whichever way you came, the path is correct.
Yeah.
So, you have to go to the fruition of the path to make yourself 100% sure that the path is correct. So, that is why it is a third noble truth.
Yeah.
So, you realize these things within the meditation. If you realization of these things, seeing these things in much more detail than I told, is the visualization, vidarshana. You see it, and with that you get a lot of other skills, wisdom. Looking at things without prejudice, and when you are not prejudiced, you are safe from a lot of problems. We run into problems because we have our own prejudices and biases, and we try to prove it to the other person, and that person has his set of prejudices and he is arguing against. So, we don't let go. This is the problem. So, we learn to work without prejudice. So, you are very safe. So, this is the difference between Vipassana meditation and other forms of meditation in very brief terms. It's very brief terms.
Yeah. Now, thank you very much for that. So now you just happened to say the difference between the Vipassana and the other forms of meditation, as you mentioned. Now, you said it depends on the expectation. Now, I'm not talking about Vipassana. Now, supposing somebody is following some method of meditation, not Vipassana, which is not Vipassana, with some expectations. Is it safe to have expectations like that during meditation? Because sometimes because sometimes people, maybe if it is for a stress-free life, maybe it will be fruitful, but there might be other expectations, such as supposing mental powers. Somebody wants to achieve mental powers, something like that. And also there are some people, now when they start meditating, whatever meditation it is, and when they experience the initial bliss, they grow very attached to it and they keep on enjoying it. And what is your opinion on that? How safe is it? Is it good or is it bad?
This is one major chunk of the problem.
Yeah.
There are so many sutras on this. I remember Bhumija Sutra. Bhumija is another prince, and he came and asked the Buddha this problem of Venerable Sir, if I have my expectation of getting into perfect mental health or perfect happiness or nirvana, with that opinion, with that idea, with that expectation, if I start meditating, will I get it? Then the reply was, Prince Bhumija, if you get into the Noble Eightfold Path and if you practice your contemplations, the 4 contemplations or Vipassana meditation, even if you expect and if you do it, you will get it. Even if you don't expect it, still you do it, you will get it. And if you expect it and don't do it, don't go in the Eightfold Path, you won't get it. Even if you don't expect it and still not going along the Eightfold Path, you won't get it. So, whether you expect or do not expect, if you get into the Eightfold Path, you will get it. The reason is that when you get into the Eightfold Path and start contemplating, this expectation is a thought.
Yeah.
We said earlier, the thoughts that are there in the consciousness,
Yeah.
they keep popping,
Yeah.
and you must let go of that.
Yeah.
So, even if you started with the expectation, this thought or expectation, when it comes, you let go.
Yeah.
So, there is no expectation within the meditation.
Yeah.
So, you are safe whether you start with expectation or not. If you are in the correct technique, you are safe. So, if you expect, that is okay. If you do not expect, that is fine. But
Yeah.
get into the correct method and do the meditation, and you will be successful.
Yeah, okay. I also asked another question, sir. What about this enjoying that initial bliss and getting attached to it? Because that's something you experience when you start meditating, and people go on enjoying that bliss. Is it all right to enjoy it, or should you let that go as well?
Now, when you start meditating, there is a term, it is said that Dev minis sapa kelawara ama maha nirvana sampatti. Now, within this meditation, you start getting Dev minis sapa. Now, if you get ama maha nirvana sampatti, that is nibbana, within this life, within the life of a person, Dev minis, the happiness, the comfort of deity will happen before that. So, it should happen before the death, before you experience the final fruition of the path, nirvana. So, if you start enjoying it, and if you get attached to it, you have a problem. Because that attachment is, you give a value to it and you store that in your consciousness, it returns, and this is really happiness and I like it, and you cling on to that thought. Until you let go that thought, you are stuck there. There is another sutra called Darukandopam Sutra. It talks about the how a log that is being drifted along a river into the sea can be destroyed before going into the sea. It is said that the people can pull it on from the river, and that is when in the meditation, as a human being, you have certain attachments, you can get stuck there, or deities can take it. And at the level of deity, you reach up to that level during the meditation. What deity, the comfort they have is they do not have a heavy body, they are very light, and they are said to have everything they want, and they get it. And then you start enjoying this within the meditation halfway, and if you get attached to that, again you are stuck there. So, those are not really the right things to keep within the path. So, you let go those things. So there are so many sutras to describe these things, because people get entrapped in these places before reach the final destiny. So, it is very, very crucial to recognize these things and then detach yourself from these places and continue.
Yeah. Okay, now I think we have around 10 more minutes. So I would like to ask you, now we talked about the Noble Eightfold Path. What do you think? Now you suggested that through your talk, like you suggested that there's some sort of relationship between the Eightfold Path and Vipassana. I would like you to comment on it.
Okay. Now Vipassana happens, you see these, as I told you earlier, the stress of the mind and the reason for stress, and the place where there is no stress, and the path for it only within Vipassana. Now this takes place only within the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path has 8 components which has to be fulfilled at the same time into one. We call it path. There are 8 components. So if we talk only about the most important, not really most important thing that we should describe to explain this, that is, sorry, the Samma Sati, that is for foundations of, or for contemplations of mindfulness. Now we are in Kayanupassana, scanning the body. At the same time, we are doing contemplation of pain also. When we do that, we see that regarding the painful point, the mind goes to the painful point, you bring it back to Kayanupassana, it goes to the painful point again, you start realizing that this mind gets born there repeatedly, dying and getting born there repeatedly. So, this is what happens. This is one little thing of Vipassana. This is what happens to the mind. It always being born in the painful point, or being born in the things that we like. There are terms for these Pali terms, like being born in pain is being in the hell, like that is symbolically, that is what happens. It is said that in the hell, you people go to the hell, they gets burned to death, and they get born again in the same place. So they burn again and again, born in the same place. It happens here also. You have severe pain at times when you start, because you don't move, you get excruciating pains, and in certain instances the mind gets born there, and again, when the skill of taking the mind off from that place to Kayanupassana, or contemplation of the body, is achieved, the mind doesn't go to the pain again. So you realize that mind can be taken off from the painful point and kept in the comfort zone. So realizing that is another little thing of Vipassana. So realizing Vipassana, that is realizing basically Four Noble Truths for yourself. This is not from the book, this is not something that somebody told, this is not coming from your clan or from your tradition, and this is what you experience within the Eightfold Path in the meditation. So this is the Vidarshana, Vishesha Darshana, special realization or visualization that is taking place. So these things have to be realized within this Eightfold Path when you meditate, and in addition to getting into the absorption of being comfort, you have this wisdom also. So these things go achieved parallelly. So in a concentration meditation, these things won't happen. You get into the absorption, or kind of mundane absorption, but these important things of Vidarshana will not happen. So that is the relationship within the Eightfold Path. You have Vidarshana. This is what is very, very simple terms, what is experienced by people who go through Vidarshana meditation, and that's a kind of relationship.
Okay. Well, having discussed that relationship and the relationship between meditation and I think so now I think this is very practical. I think you can like if I ask you, if what I want to ask is just to concentrate on where one could meditate. Now when you said that, I thought maybe not only seated, maybe now suppose when I'm talking, if I or when I'm just seated, or when I'm just doing something else also, or can you apply this meditation technique when you are when you have sort of initiated it, maybe seated, but can you apply it in your daily work as well? Because we get through, like supposing you're on bed and you're sick, can you apply it? Because you get many bodily pains. Do you think it can be applied
Yes,
for experienced, at least somewhat experienced meditators?
Definitely. Now one has to have a definite period of sitting meditation. That is the training period.
Yeah.
The other time when you are sick or doing something else, that is you apply the same technique to that place, driving, cycling or doing whatever thing that you do. You can apply sleep. If you are sick and on the sick bed, best thing is to do without thinking about the sickness and what is going to happen and all that.
Especially about the pains that you undergo.
Yes, you start doing the thing that you have trained, vipassana meditation. Even at the time of death, that is what is happen. You automatically shift into that. If you are trained, nobody has to ask you. You automatically click onto that mode. So you are meditating, you are safe and sick bed. Sometimes it becomes a blessing because you have free time.
Yes,
when you are in the sick bed.
definitely. Now I thought of it.
So, so even being sick is a blessing. How
Yeah.
nice it is.
Yes, definitely.
So you start meditating. If there are pains, lucky to have some pains, to contemplate on the pain,
Yeah.
and then you keep doing that.
And I think it is a great advantage, as you said, if you are trained, you can apply it on your deathbed. Because, but so if it is a sudden death, now suppose you are hit by a vehicle or something while crossing the road. If it is a sudden death, do you think maybe an experienced meditator could apply it? Because there is always a danger of what your last thought may be, and it will sort of not make you safe in your next birth. So do you think that this can be applied even at a sudden death?
Mind is much faster than we think.
Yeah.
The worst situation is a bomb.
Hmm.
You are here, suddenly you are not there. A person who is trained will not have distracting or unwholesome or bad thought at any time. So suppose somebody dies instantly, and that person who is in the path and meditator will never have a thought of anger or aversion or attachment, all that much. So if there's absolutely no time to do anything, in that way he is safe. Otherwise, if you have a couple of minutes to die, you can click onto your vipassana meditation mode if you are trained on. Then if you really get into, it's easy to get into a fruition of the path at that time, because it is said that when people die, if they are achieved certain levels, they can get into the next level, because you are given a chance, because your blood pressure is coming down. When the blood pressure is coming down, you can't see things and getting blood, and so automatically cut off from outside. That is what you want. And then after some time your body is cut off, your mind is with the consciousness, and you are trained now to let go what is in the consciousness. You are fine. Don't worry at the time of death.
I think you make us feel that it is a blessing.
It is.
Your deathbed and being sick. You made us feel very good about it, and thank you so much. I think that is what all we need to, in the end, we need to end this suffering. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us for this time of 1 hour, because I think most of our viewers, almost all of our viewers who listen to us benefited from this. And I'm sure now they're looking forward to fall ill and looking forward, and I'm sure if they practice this, if they practice Vipassana, you'll be looking forward and you will not fear death or being sick, or you won't be afraid of the physical or mental pains, or not mental, I should say, physical pains. You won't get mental pains if you're if you're an experienced meditator. And so thank you so much. And viewers, if you have any comments, please write to us. You know our usual address. So please feel free to ask questions as well as write your genuine comments. And let us meet on the next Monday itself. Until that, please take good care, and may the most noble Triple Gem bless you.